What's up, world? It is the girls from When Ladies Talk, your favorite home girls that you love to hang out with every single Thursday at 7 p.m. What's up?
That's
What's
right.
up? I am your girl, Latanya Michelle. Next to me is the beautiful, luscious Miss Latrina.
Hello, hello. I like that. Luscious. Whew.
And beloved is that sexual chocolate, Miss Nikki Jones.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Yes. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome,
Hello,
ladies. How
hello.
y'all feeling?
Hey,
I am
great.
feeling really, really good. Before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to my mini me, my baby Brianna. She is 28 today. Not real sure who her real mama is, but yeah,
It can't be you
it
because you
cannot.
only 32. Because you only
Exactly.
32, right? Okay.
Right. So it cannot be me. But yeah, happy birthday to my baby, living it up. I was in Miami over the weekend, and oh my God, we had family time out there with a lot of cousins, and it was wonderful. So she's doing it up all week. So happy birthday, baby.
Happy birthday, baby.
Happy birthday.
What about you, Nikki? How has your week been?
It's been really busy but enlightening and I love it. I'm glad I'm alive.
I know that's right.
Enlightening. What does enlightening mean? When you use that word, what exactly do you mean when you say that?
You know, when you figure certain things out finally, you know what I mean?
Oh, so you got all kinds of confirmations and all of that stuff and everything.
Yes, all about business and what my next steps are. Things are happening.
Okay.
That's good.
You know
That's
what?
good.
And that's interesting you say that because I really do think that something is going on in the atmosphere because it seems like all I'm hearing is good stuff. And, I feel like when I speak stuff out loud, it's happening. And it's like a lot easier than before. So
Yes.
the fact that you said that, that must mean something. It's a universe
It's a
thing. How
shift.
about that?
Yes.
So today. Okay, wait a minute. We already got a whole crew online. So before we even get on the topic, let's shout out our. You know what? We really have to come up with names for our people that's on here with us every week. We can't say our homegirls because we got homeboys too. So we
That's
got to
true.
come up with something really cute and sexy for them too.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
We had butterflies. I have limited comments today. I'm sure y'all glad I'm in Miami enjoying the birthday.
who
Yes,
was that?
Stephanie.
Who said that?
Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Yeah, right. She gonna start listening. She gonna be all into whatever. So I don't have my glasses on, so one of y'all gonna have to shout out whoever's here because I can't see.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. So let's see who's here. We got Khadijah's in the building, Angie, uh, Taniqua, let's see, Patty, Sheila, Stephanie. She said the good people. Oh,
Uh-uh.
she said no, she said that's the name. We should call the people the good people.
The good people, the peeps, the good people.
How about the great ones?
Hey,
I don't
hey,
know.
it is what it is. We at least will be speaking something into existence every
That's
time we
right.
talk to them. So that may be a good thing. So today's topic is because we have three women up in here, and even though we all come from different backgrounds and have different lifestyles, we are
Right.
all one thing that we share in common, other than being beautiful queens, is that we're mothers.
Bright
So
divas.
and
Come on.
divas and business owners and intelligent and fabulous and phenomenal. And
That's
don't get me
right.
started. I'll go on
Go
the
ahead. No,
whole
no, no.
show.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
But one of the best titles I think that we all can carry is being mothers to Black sons.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So today's show is all about Black women raising Black sons. Dun, dun, dun,
Mhm.
dun, 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 dun. Woo. Okay, so let's first start off here. Latrina, how old
Yes.
is your son?
23. He is
23.
23. Yes.
Did you raise him with his father?
Up until, so let me be clear. I've never been a single parent. I've always co-parented. So I just want to be clear about that. My children have always lived with me after the divorce, and I've been divorced 11 years or something like that. But I've never been, a single parent. My ex-husband has been involved, all along.
So
Which is even though they're involved, living with you under your roof is still a difference from having, two parents. But yeah, he's always been involved.
so he is the birth father.
Yes,
Okay.
he
Okay.
he is the pappy.
He is the pappy. Sure, he used to buck wild.
Girl. Hey.
We're not to be back on here on this show. This is not Maury. This is not Maury. Okay. Next,
He is
Nikki.
the pappy.
Nikki, you have two boys, right?
I have two sons.
How old are they?
My sons are 32 and 15.
Okay. So did you
Yes.
raise them solo?
Yes. Yes, pretty much. I was a single mom, and it's been I have stories for days. It's tough. It's been tough, but I have had help. So thank God. I had a village. I had my advisors. I had I had some of the elder women in my family help.
Was
So
their fathers? Do they have the same father?
no.
Okay.
So I
Was
was a teen mom. I was a
was their
teen mom.
was their fathers in their life at all?
Not that when I was the teen mom, no. The second one, yes and no. That's becoming it's one of those things where he was all excited, but when we didn't go, he still tried to kind of like father from afar, but it's tough, it's tough. But he's around, but my youngest son, because of, the I won't say mistakes I made in the past with my older one, but the younger son, I made sure that, there's mentors involved. His father is involved. He has an uncle that's very involved with him. So, just to help keep him on the straight line in that
On
man
the
thing.
whole show, we ain't even got to that part
I'm
yet.
just saying.
Look, the initial question was, how old are your boys? That was the initial question.
She asked something else. She was like, are there fathers in their lives? Okay, fine. Okay.
All right.
How about you?
Yes.
You're talking. I have one son who's 31 years old, and I was married to his father.
And is his father in his life?
Doom, doom, doom. Okay.
Next
So
question.
what happened?
So I was married to his father till he was to the age of 12, and then we split. We both had him for a week at a time for a while, and then somehow it became where it was just me. So they went through a period where they didn't talk and all that stuff, but now they talk again. So it is what it is. So his father is in his life now. So raising black sons. So I gotta ask this question, and I know this is probably totally off, but I gotta ask: when you was pregnant, was you sitting there saying, "I want a son," or did you want a girl?
No, I wanted a girl.
So my daughter's the oldest. So when I was pregnant, I said yes, I did want a girl. And with my second one, with my son, I got exactly what I asked for, because I asked for a girl first and then a son.
See, I was absolutely terrible because I prayed. I was like, God, please don't give me no girl. Please don't give me no girl, because I know how I was. I never listen. They call me crazy. I have two grandsons too, so I don't think girls are meant to come away out from me. And I had my son. I had my son at 19. I say 25. My mother says 23. My tubes was tied, so I would not have another child. I was serious about having a new child. And so I definitely didn't want to.
Here's the interesting thing about my pregnancy, because when I was 16 or 17, I was diagnosed with lupus. And they told my family and me that I would never be able to have children.
Oh,
Wow.
So
wow.
yeah, they said that, it would be too much wear and tear on my body and too stressful, and but I had a praying grandmother, praying father, mother, and just God was like, no. And I'll never forget, my grandmother said, no, not my grandbaby. She gonna do whatever she wanna do. She gonna have kids. And so I was terrified when I had my daughter, when I was pregnant with my daughter, because I was always worried. I remembered, what they said in the hospital, but then after a while, I mean, it was perfectly fine. And then it was tough for me to get pregnant with my son. So I'm like, oh my God, yeah. So it was interesting. Being pregnant was, interesting because I was just scared. I was just out of fear for what the doctors had told me. But yeah, I wanted a girl first. I wanted a mini me, and let me tell you, be careful what the hell you pray for.
That's why I knew I didn't want one. I knew my life. I know how I was. Ain't no way in hell I would
Girl,
rather be.
woo, be very, very careful because it come back at you like never before. And then they come back smarter and taller, and where everybody's bigger than me.
Oh my God.
But
Yeah.
yeah, be careful. I should have asked for 2 boys.
So they say that a Black woman cannot raise, so Nikki can talk on her topic. So they say a Black woman a mother cannot raise a son solo. And you hear all kinds of debates about that and all of that. But yet and still, some of the greatest men that you know have been raised by their mothers. Some of the smartest businessmen, if you look at a majority of the people that you know, they were raised by their mothers. Their fathers was nowhere to be found or whatever. And a lot of them did not have any male role models. Your thoughts on that?
Well,
I just wanted to throw that out there. I mean, the back.
well, it's not for me. I agree with that, but and that's why, and I feel that's why this time around with my youngest son, I made sure, because his father wasn't around, to make sure that I had those things in place, meaning other outlets for him to, see strong Black men, entrepreneurs, people that are doing things, just positive role models. I made it a point. So I had him in mentor clubs, mentorship clubs. I had him in sports at one point. He's a musician right now. So I keep him busy because it's definitely difficult because I have to go out there and work, and I work hard. So I work, I'm a W-2, then I have my own business that I'm trying to get off the ground. And it's just a lot. It's a lot. So I actually agree with that statement. Or I don't debate that statement. I do believe that even though these people have grown up and it's been great without the mentors in their lives and without that access, because of that, that's why I do it. It's important to me now to make sure that my son has that kind of access.
Trina?
Well, in my family, I had a lot of role models. So, my husband was at home, and my dad, my brother, my uncles. But my son, even outside of that, I mean, right, he did mentorship programs. He was in the Boy Scouts, Cub Scout. He did all those things. He played baseball. He played soccer. I just wanted to be sure that he was well-rounded. And just because you're in a house with 2 parents, that doesn't mean, I'm not going to say it doesn't mean a whole lot, but it doesn't mean that the kids are going to be okay. It just really doesn't mean that. So you do need, in my opinion, for my son, I just wanted to be sure that he didn't have one view of a Black man, so I just wanted to be sure that he was just well-rounded with different type of people, in front of him, and that he could look up to. And my son, everybody says their son is amazing. He is amazing. I am an entrepreneur right now because of my son. My son's been an entrepreneur since he was 9 years old. 9 years old. And the funny story, he was in school. Principal called me and she's like, Trina, you need to come up to the school, because me and the principal were cool. I was one of the mothers that everybody knew me. So she's like, you need to come up to the school. And I'm like, somebody messing with my baby? What's really going on? She was like, he don't have no shoes. Girl, I take the earring. What? I like kids. Okay. So come to find out, this little dude sold his shoes. Tennis shoes.
I love it.
True story, sold his tennis shoes. So when we picked him up from school, we took him home. We like, did they bully you? That's what we're thinking. Someone took them bully. He was like, no, Mom. I looked around, 9. I looked around and everybody's wearing tennis shoes. He was like, I got all the tennis shoes. Everybody keep telling me my tennis shoes fly. So I'm like, I'm a seller. And to this day, that's what he does. So
sell tennis shoes.
He sells tennis shoes.
My son used to do that. Yeah, that's cool.
Buy and sell. And tennis shoes have gone to cars, to flipping houses, to now but that's where it started, and so
awesome.
Yeah, but he had, I remember on his wall, he had like the top 10 richest men in the world, which only a couple of them were Black, at like 10 years old. So he was always like way far advanced. I don't know where he gets that shit from, but he was, but I just want to make sure, and even now, that he's 23 years old, I'm still, making sure that he stays on track and making sure that, he remembers everything he was taught, and some of the bad things that his parents showed him. Don't do that. Don't make the mistakes we made.
Right.
So Black kids, period, but Black boys, we always raising them. I really just don't care how old they are. For me, I'm always in my son's ear, always.
Right. Hey, Rhonda.
So my thought on that is, I don't think a woman can teach her son how to be a man, but I think she can raise him just as good, if not better, than a man. Like your son, my son, I remember I'm an entrepreneur because of my son, because I kept my son close to me. He knew everything that was going on. He knew about my business thing. So when I first started promoting at 16, my son would be with me. And the reason why he would be with me is because my son has always been a numbers genius. So he was the only person I trust with my money. So he would be at the door counting the money and like, no, you can't see her and you can't get in. You can pay this money. And my son, I'll never forget. My son told me when he was 16, why don't you get your own? Why do you keep using everybody else's stuff? Why do you?
Oh, wow.
So I went to go look at this. He said, I went to go look at this building and you need to check this out. Oh, my son did a game plan where he had plotted out a restaurant, a club, all kinds of stuff. And the name of it was Tiger Eye, because that's what they used to call me. So my son, what my biggest regret is that, he played every sport. He played basketball. I like every other mom who tries to keep their child business. I was either, if they didn't have a coach, Tanya Michelle became the coach, or I was the team mom.
Right.
My son was going to be playing sports, and all his friends became my godsons and moved into my house and everything and stuff like that. So I always taught him about confidence. You know what I mean? I remember at the age of 14 or 15, he was like, no, I don't like how you pick out my clothes. I don't want no Nike stuff. I don't want any of that stuff that everybody else is wearing. So my whole thing was like, okay, keep your grades up, and whatever you find that you want, you come up with half the money and I'll pay the half. That's why my son flies to California now, just to go to just in for the day to go to his favorite basketball game and have 4 seats and don't give a dang if nobody else is with him, and he flies back to go to work, because his mentality, and he didn't get that from his father. He got that from his mother, because I always taught him, you live the life that you want to, but make sure you work hard and you do whatever you do to take care of your bills, but have fun and enjoy life.
Right.
His friends, there's a group of them that they get together. Well, they don't no more because now he's married, but they get together and they put a map out and spin a bottle, whatever, something like that, and choose where they're going to go. They done been to Russia. And all the places where us black people be like, oh, we're going to Jamaica, we're going to, they
That's
like, no,
cool though.
and it's black boys, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I can't. I'm just one of those people that you can't tell me because I've been around black men who are black fathers, and I'm like, yeah, I don't need to. Yeah, you. What you're doing is not necessary. Just because you're a man does not make you an equipped person to be
Absolutely.
a father or whatever. And just because you have that title, you got to show it. So my biggest regret was not finding somebody that I truly, truly trust who knew how to love themselves and express themselves to be in my son's life. Because I think, like most men, it's hard for them to express themselves. And I
Right.
wish I had someone in his life back then who taught him that.
Yeah.
But other than that, hey, it is what it is.
The only issue I have with my son is my son is very quiet. He's
Yes.
very quiet. He's an introvert. He
Yeah.
doesn't like a whole lot of people. We've lived here 18 years. He got the same 4 friends,
Yeah.
so he don't add on, he knows a lot of people. A lot of people know him, but friends, it might be 4.
Yes.
So and he's not emotional. He's really
Yes.
not that affectionate. I have to force, and
Oh,
all that is
Lord.
his father. All that unaffectionate
what?
shit, all that.
That's why he's so great, though. That's that one
Girl.
that'll take care of you, and you got to realize that he ain't you. He ain't you, but he's a
He'll
great,
tell me that in a minute, Latanya.
a great version of him. I go through the same thing with my child. It's like
Yeah.
my son.
He'll tell me that in a minute. And even though he's the youngest, he acts the oldest. My daughter is 5 years older than him, and he has
Wow.
her on financial plans and all kind of, it's just it's amazing.
That's pretty amazing.
And she
So
listens. So
that's amazing. So let me ask you a question. Do you guys remember the first time you experienced finding out maybe your son was looking at pornos or any of that stuff?
Oh my
Y'all haven't dealt with
God.
that?
Yes, I dealt with that.
How did you handle it?
My Lord
let me
Jesus.
sip
Okay.
my tea.
Aha!
Look, let me adjust my
Mine is
seat.
really tea. Mine is really belly fat
Yeah.
tea. I'm not drinking alcohol. You drinking alcohol. Mine is tea.
Mine is something like a tea.
Okay.
Ooh, so all right. So let's
She
see.
said, "Woo."
Breathe. Okay, well,
Okay.
tell my
Right. She's like,
son, are you
So
older?
okay. So what had happened was
What had happened? You know
I
what's
brought
bad?
my son a Kindle, right? Because he was a reader. He can read at 4 years old. I used to get into he was into the leapfrog thing, and so he can read, he was good. I bought him a Kindle, right? Electronic Kindle. I didn't think I had to put any protector thingies on there or whatever because he's 7 years old.
oh God.
Well, he was 7, yeah.
Look at Ty. She like, say it again. How old? What? 7. Jesus.
He used to go to Taekwondo, so he was doing the, karate thing, whatever. And a little boy in there had mentioned the word porn. So what does my inquisitive backyardigans explorer little kid do? He comes home, this is all but unbeknownst to me. Of course, he goes on the internet, search porn. That's all she wrote. How I found out about it was because
He was watching it?
yes, not only that, no,
Wait, I ain't
not only
laughing. I swear I ain't laughing.
he was. What I found out was that. So this is where it gets bad. He went to his uncle's house he has a little cousin over there. The little cousin is straight vanilla.
Ooh,
Okay,
oh, okay.
it's a guy, straight
Oh,
vanilla.
okay.
And so Donovan shows him. So now he's exposed, but yet he tells his parents, you know what I'm saying, what this was. And so then it was like this big thing. And so what I did, I asked Donovan, I said, Donovan, I said, were you looking at this? No, mom, no, mom, no. I mean, literally. And I was married at the time too. And so he kept denying it. So then I said, you know what, come with me. We went to McDonald's around the corner. And when we came back, we just sat in the car. We were out there for an hour. I said, Donovan, you're not going to get in trouble. Just tell me the truth. You're not going to get in trouble. I was like, I'm going to explain some things to you. You're not going to get in trouble. Just tell me. No, Mom, no. Probably like 45 minutes in, Donovan, listen, I know you're a young boy. I said, I know that this is something that you probably didn't do on your own. All right. And somebody might have showed you this, but I need to know, did you look at naked people doing stuff?
Do it.
He finally, after 45 minutes, yes,
Donovan is a
yes.
sex freak now.
Here's what I'm gonna tell you. I was like, let me tell you this. So, oh my God. So I had to have his,
She's still having problems now. Donovan is
no.
30 something.
Oh my gosh.
I had to tell him, basically I explained to him that it's, natural to feel certain things, but why it's important for him not to be consumed with this now at his age, and this is what he needs to be focused on. Because what I didn't want to do, ladies, was to tell him how bad it was, and then he's suppressing all of this stuff, grow up and rape some damn body. You know what I'm saying? So I basically explained to him, I understand it's a natural thing, but this is why it's important for you not to be doing this. And I said also too, I was like, you told your cousin, and now what if he goes and tells somebody, and then now it's a whole big thing. And I explained to him, I was like, people, they may not be ready for that. I said, you're not ready for it. So I basically I had to talk to him. I had to do real talk. I told him, I said, because if you going around showing people this stuff like this, I was like, as the mom, I probably could get in trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
I could get in trouble. And I said, do you want me to get in? No, Mama, and I'm sorry. I said, you don't have to be sorry. I said, but you need to be able to talk to me, blah, 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 blah. And of course, then I got his uncle, his uncle was able to, break it down in a man format, different things. And that was it.
So did you
Yeah.
become a nosy mama after that and would always be in
Oh
his
well,
business?
of course I put the controls on, but I
Uh-huh.
continued to have conversations like later on because things came up. I mean, y'all got daughters out there, but they hot as hell. Let me tell you. And so, of course, my son, being curious, he seems to always have been curious about that fact, and I have to reel him back in and remind him, and then he gets it. He gets it. He gets it. We have a very open relationship. Like now he's 15, he'll be 16 in a couple of months, so
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
yeah.
I've never experienced that. At,
Oh,
at the age of 10, I bought a book about syphilis, sex, videos. Yeah.
I
So
love it.
oh,
Brainwash.
I
I
showed my
mean,
sons what it looked like.
yeah,
That's another thing I did. I took
yeah,
so when my oldest son, when he did, what? I never caught him doing anything like that. But I knew he was coming of age, and boys, girls, they listen to your phone calls.
they
Like
do.
I would hang up from the phone, and he'd be like, "She broke up with him over that." I'm like, "Get out of here!"
Right,
And
right.
then, but because he was becoming older, what I made him do, I would go to Google Images and I type in the diseases, child, and on a
Hmm.
man, and I said, "This is what your thing will look like." And I used to tell him, I was like, if somebody has a cold sore on their lip, and they go down there on you, that turns into genital herpes, blah 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 blah. And then later on in life, I asked my oldest son, I said, anything that I ever told you, have that ever come up? Did it remind you of anything? And he said, yeah. He said, like his last year in school, what he said was that a girl, wanted to give him a kiss, and she had something on her mouth, and he was like, I said, well, what did you say? He said, I just told her I had a cold and I didn't want her to catch it. I was
Yeah,
like, that's a nice thing to do. I mean, of course, instead of him saying like, get away from me.
So the girls in
Oh,
our family, when they get their menstrual, I used to make baskets for them, and in the
Oh,
baskets,
yeah, I've heard
cute.
stories like
yeah,
that.
it
Yeah.
was, books about sex and being a woman and tampons, just a gift basket. But for my son, I kind of did the same thing,
Mm.
but it was condoms. It was, all the stuff in there because here's the thing. They're going to do what they're going to do. We just have to
Hmm.
do our best to explain to them and try to keep
Yes,
them protected.
absolutely.
So even though his father was in his life, and I'm sure his father had conversations with him, but I had my own conversations. And like I said, I did the little basket, and it wasn't really a basket for a boy, but it was just a bag, with information in it. But as far as him looking at stuff, that I've never experienced. But
Mm.
yeah,
So
boys are a lot difficult.
Yeah.
I was nosy. I was a nosy mom. Yeah, I'm just going in your room, in my house, and so I found where
You
he hid
froze.
maggots. And
You froze. You found what?
Which,
who froze me?
yeah, you froze.
You froze. What you say?
Oh, oh, so my son's room, he had pornos and magazines. So
Mm.
I called my boy. I said, "What am I supposed to do?" He was like, "You're gonna pretend you never seen it." I said, "Huh?" He
What?
said, "You're gonna pretend you never seen it, and you're gonna get out of his room." I was like, he said, "You're gonna pretend you never seen it because that's just a natural thing. That's just a normal thing, and it's okay."
I heard
And
that
so,
too.
my next thing was my thing was to him is like, "Yo, you can do whatever you want. You can have fun. You can be all over these women if you want to, but let me let you know, you get the disease, you could die, and if somebody gets pregnant,
Damn, she went straight to death. You could die.
if
You can't
somebody
get a
gets
disease. You could
pregnant,
die.
everything that's due you is going to go to that child, and you will not get anything." That's all I had to say with my
Oh,
son,
Lord.
and I basically I bought his condoms until he was like 17, right? Till he had his own job because I didn't want to be a grandmother at a young
Yeah.
age. You know what I mean? And I knew my son was doing stuff. You know what I mean? I think my son was sleeping with a teacher, if you ask me.
What?
But oh yeah, oh yeah. I almost had to get kicked out of. I almost fought the teacher at
Mm.
Frederick Douglass High School in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. But
Wow.
those teachers are young anyway. So yeah.
Right. Right.
Um, so next question, because do you ever feel like you failed as a mother?
Sometimes. Sometimes I do. When I first got divorced, I felt like a failure as a mother by not being able to keep my family together. So
Mm.
I did feel like, as hard as I fought, I did feel like a failure because I felt like in my mind, ultimately, it was my responsibility to keep to keep the family together, even though, of course, I have since learned and I knew then that really it wasn't, but I took that mentality on for some reason that it was my responsibility to keep the family together. And I probably learned that from my grandmother because she went through so much with my grandfather and she never left. She never left. She stayed unconditionally, even when, my grandfather was one of my favorite people. And I'm like, could you just divorce him? Just
Right,
divorce his ass because he
right,
ain't shit.
right.
But, she didn't. So I did feel like a failure. I felt like I failed my children. But what I learned shortly thereafter after my divorce is I failed them staying.
Right,
So
right, right,
that's what
right.
I learned after the divorce. I failed by staying as long as I did. So I don't have any regrets from it now. And my kids and I actually talk about that. We talk about the anger and frustration that I was in and how I treated them in the midst of the anger and frustration. So I have regrets for how I treated them
Right. Yeah.
during that time, that angry period in my life. So that's probably the only regret I have is how I
I have
treated them.
two. I have two regrets. I regret that I stayed for so long in my relationship because my relationship was abusive. So my son watched me get beat. So I had to teach him, because if I'm the woman that he loves the most and I'm that one that he looks up to, and I'm that person who's been by his side, we are really that tight. If it's acceptable for me to sit there and take it to get beat, I'm teaching him that it's okay for him to be the woman. So I had to basically finally wake up. If it wasn't for my son, I probably would be dead by now because I may have committed suicide, and or if it wasn't for my son, I probably would still be married to the same man. So my son has been my lifesaver, will always be my lifesaver, and my wife. The second thing that I regret is that my son chose to move out on his own when he turned 18 or 19, and I let him think that it was okay. It's almost like I feel like I pushed him out there and was like, go ahead and be a man. You know what I mean? And I actually moved out of state. And I think, and when it happened, one of his best friends died and the other one got sent to prison. So he went through everything and I was nowhere to be found. So even though I was there on the phone and all of that stuff or whatever, but I still wasn't there for him to come to the house.
Right.
And so, one thing about men, when they hold grudges, they hold grudges. So my son is 30, and that was when he was 19 or 20. And so I still pay for that. So any little argument, which we are in now, I'm still paying for that because it goes back to something that I think I thought I made up for or whatever and stuff. So, yeah. So I always tell people, Black people now, or not just Black people, I just tell people now, like, your children, just because they're 18 does not mean that they're ready to go. Make sure that their mind is right. They know how to balance, money and all of that stuff. I mean, and I'm thankful. Like, I'm very thankful because I plotted my son's. It's not that I was trying to control him, but he was not going to be a failure. But I plotted him when it didn't work out in school. I was like, yo, you're going to go in the reserves and you're going to follow my instructions. We're going to get you your security clearances. You live in the Washington, D.C. area, and you're going to stay in the military until we get you your clearance. And once we get you your clearance, you can leave. And I did just that. I made sure he went into the IT field. I made sure he had his clearance, and I kept my promise on doing the paperwork to get him out the military, so he's living a great life. He's living a great life. He's married with 2 children, and he's living a great life. But I'm still here to say that we have got to get our sons to open up their mouths and talk. We have got to make sure somebody's in their life where they can open up to, because if not, they grow up to be the men that we end up dating.
Yeah. Karima said, I felt the same way like I felt my kids after 23 years of marriage. But once I left, my kids told me I didn't like their dad. No, my kids told me they knew I didn't like my dad and wish I had left sooner. So we could have all been happier. I wish that too. That's true, Karima. It's funny because my daughter told me when I, set my kids down, well, when he set them down and told them we were getting a divorce, my daughter was like, I don't know why you didn't do it earlier, Mom.
Right.
And I'm looking at her like, look, girl, I tried to stay here for y'all ass, but
you gotta stop doing that. You gotta stop doing that.
Because they know. They know.
They know it more than anything. They know us better than we know ourselves.
Yeah.
And we have to give them credit for that. We have to give these children room to open up their mouths and express themselves too, and stop thinking because we're the parent that we have all the answers, because they have a voice too.
Yeah, Karina said we actually fail our kids by staying in faux marriages. Totally agree. We are successful as parents when we show them honesty, loyalty, and happy whole parents. I totally agree. Totally agree.
And they should be able to see us hurt. They should be able to see us cry, because that's part of being a human being.
Yeah.
Right.
It's tough. It's tough.
So
it's definitely tough.
Mothers. How was your experience when you brought a man in while your child was still in the house?
Girl, my son. Here's the funny thing. My son is still kind of like that now. And he is 23 and don't even live with me.
My son don't
So
want to meet nobody unless they real sick. He likes
Yeah.
things
my
and anyway. So
right. So there's only a few people that I've dated, a couple, I would say, that actually have met my children. But my son will tell me in a minute, and my daughter is like me. She gonna say whatever. If your feelings hurt, then sorry, whatever. But my son, he'll just flat out say, "No, I don't like him," or he'll stay in his room and he'll stay away. So I know what that behavior means. But yeah, my son ain't really. He's probably only like one person out of the almost 11, 12 years that I've been divorced. He doesn't like people that don't have high integrity. If they
right,
don't, and he'll tell me that, he's
right,
like, nah, ma, he ain't for you. I'll go do what you're gonna do, but he ain't the one.
right.
So my son is funny because I remember when my sister lived with us years ago, and my son had an office in our other house. And when I was cleaning up his office, he had these license plate numbers on a pad. And I
Nice.
was like, yes. And I was like, what are these license plate numbers? He was
Oh
like,
my God.
he was like, when you and TT go on dates, those are the license plate numbers of the guys that pick you up. Because yes, he's like, because if anything happened, I'm calling the police. He was like,
Oh
yes.
my God.
So my
Now
son
listen,
is a stalker. He is, girl. Or if I'm out too late of what he thinks is too late, he'll text me or call me and be like, you what? So you on your way?
I love
You
it.
think you should be home right now? He would even tell me when I would come from work. So it's like 18 miles from work. And if you stop at the grocery store, it's like 3 miles. So you should be home in like 6 minutes. Dude, you need to get your
What?
whole my son
I
is
love
a
it.
stalker
I
to this
love it.
day. And he don't
I
live
love
with
it.
me. He's a stalker. So
I love it.
he don't really like any you got to be badass for my son to even say hello.
Well, okay.
Yeah, my son don't even my son is like he was like
So,
whatever. There was one guy that I dated, and my son, all the years that I dated him, the whole time that I was with him, my son just thought he was just my close friend because he never seen us touch. He never seen, but he
okay.
was always around. Him and my son got really close. My son, that's like
That's like
2003,
2003,
2004.
2004.
Nikki
Nikki,
in that phone.
it's
When
her.
Nikki was
It's
dead.
Nikki.
Right,
No, no, no.
2000.
I took my headphones out and plugged them back in because I heard myself echoing.
So
Oh,
I just told him the truth probably like 2 years ago. He was like, what? Y'all dated? He had no clue. He was like, all this time I thought y'all was just good friends and everything. I was like, yeah, we dated.
Well,
Karima says my
oh,
sons
go
are
ahead.
surprisingly very accepting of me dating. I think they just know how miserable I was with their dad and want me to be happy. But I'm
Right.
very cautious to bring men around my kids, even now that I'm 3 years single. Angie said her youngest son is my I'm assuming bodyguard. If we are anywhere, he will let a man know not to get near me. That is
Right.
too funny.
Right.
And Angela said, oh no, I'm going through that now with my sons. Until I know I want a man around me for a while, they don't like anyone I'm dating. Yeah, and they'll tell you. My
Yeah,
son will flat out tell me.
yeah. My son. So when I started dating again, I just didn't bring anybody home. Like it like even now, like it was 6 months. 6 months before I needed to vet because first of all, even in dating, I don't let nobody know where I live. They want to
Right.
pick me up because I don't know if you that guy to be sitting outside talking about, hey, you almost home and all that other crap. Nah. So yeah, but once I do my vetting, I would and the introduction happened. It was short. It was very short. Hi, and then he run away to his room. But then, uh, he felt some kind of way. Oh, your son doesn't like me, blah, 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 blah. I was like, well, he's a teenager. Teenagers don't really talk like that. And then I asked my son, I was like, do you have a problem? Is there anything, and my son honestly he said, no, I just figured I say hi and I just figured y'all just wanted to be alone. And so I just go upstairs. I'm on, I don't really have much to say. What am I going to
Right.
say?
That's
So,
good.
exactly. So I had to explain that. I had to explain that to him. But my older son is pretty lax now, but he used to be. Oh God, like walking down the street, if a guy looks at me, he turns around and looks at the guy to make sure the guy's not looking at my butt. It was bad. So yeah, he would just always mean mug everybody. I'm like, stop
Yeah.
doing that, So yeah, but
Patty
I don't
says
know.
my Patty says my son thinks he's my bodyguard, boyfriend, protector, husband. Patty, that is my son.
Yeah.
My father, my
Mhm.
he thinks he's
Right.
my everything. But let me ask you this. So have you guys ever dated anyone where your son flat out said, I don't like him, and did you stop dating him? Because for me, my son did tell me one guy in particular, which was right after my divorce. He was like, I don't like him. I don't like it. And he couldn't explain to me like why. And it didn't even matter to me. I mean, really, to be to be honest with you. So I stopped dating him. I mean,
Me,
I can't date anybody that makes my children uncomfortable, you know.
Yeah, no,
So
that's never happened to me like that. No.
okay.
me and my when I divorced my ex-husband went and became the man that I wanted him to be. So
Wow.
3 years later, he came back to try to get back with me, and we started talking and everything. And my son told me one day, "You're only doing this because you think you're doing it for me. You really don't like him. You really don't want him. So we don't need him. We can love each other enough. So you can let him go if you want to." That same night, I was like, "I can't do this no
That's
more."
so interesting, Latanya, because my ex-husband, same thing. Several years after our divorce, I think it was a little bit after my brother passed away, maybe. And we tried to date again. And it probably was 3 weeks. I was like, you the same person. Nah, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So it's interesting, and I don't even know why. I probably history, maybe. I
Right.
don't know of why you try things
Comfort
again and
zone.
you think
Comfort zone.
comfort, yeah. And I was like, nah,
So these men that, I guess, Nikki, this probably applies to you now because our sons is grown, and in our audience. So, y'all say that y'all put y'all sons in these mentors programs and all of this stuff, and you have them, around these other men. What are you doing to check these other men to make sure these are good quality men? Because a lot of people have mentoring programs because they can get money or whatever. Everybody that say that they're a mentor or a coach is not a good mentor or a coach.
Well,
So
for
what
me,
are y'all doing?
Well, for me, I actually work. I'm a project director or project coordinator with a nonprofit that the founder of the company I work for actually has called the 13th Man, and it mentors kids from ages 12 to 17. So I'm a part of that, and
Mhm.
so we all of the mentor volunteers they're it's not just random people. Some of these are the owner's friends, other business colleagues, and we also vet everybody. So we do the background check, all of that. We have all of these different programs that aid in guy talk. Um, we have a where we have like a 4-day empowerment camp in the summertime. So we have all of these different programs that we put together. So the mentors that he has are with them. So those people are vetted. Um, and then he's also part of a mentorship group with his school, in which the principal is leading that effort with the Omegas. So Manhood 101. So he's doing that as well. So and those guys are vetted, and so I feel comfortable in that.
All I
you
can say
should.
is just make sure, because there's a lot of people vetted. There's a lot of people who should not be mentors, whether they're vetted.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
Yeah,
make
yeah.
sure. So
yeah.
just make sure that you
Right.
don't get so comfortable that you're like, oh yeah, I trust them and I know these people and everything and stuff like that.
And my
so
son,
I'm not just talking about you in general. I'm just talking about as a whole.
Period.
There's so much stuff going on and there's so many people. Oh, I got a mentor program. First of all, you don't even know how to lead yourself. So I don't know why you are mentoring anything because your mindset is not even right. So if like my grandsons now, I'm super protective. The things that I overlooked with my son, there ain't no way in the world I'm overlooking with. You can't. My grandson tells me one thing that throws me off because we build up his self-esteem and he'll be like, TT, I'm not feeling handsome today. Uh-oh, wait, hold up, rewind, what's going on? Because somebody's messing with your mental and you don't know nothing else. So let's work on this. So what's going on? You need to be honest. So that's all I'm saying. And I'm not knocking anything. There's amazing programs out there. I'm just saying we have to make sure now more than ever to check and keep checking the people, especially for our kids, because they don't know what to look for.
Yeah, Angie said that her mentorship is from her village and her church, who's been a part of her son's life since birth. Sugar, there go your girl. Hey, girl.
Hey,
I do have regrets.
You know she gets her special.
Oh my God. She said, I do have regrets, but I have spiritually foundation that allows me to forgive myself. So I won't give it life in speaking on it. I've never argued with my son and probably never will. He is mad respectful of all living things and dangerously quiet. That is so true. I'm a mother whose story of a struggle is amazing. I've dated outside the house and only that my significant of 2 to 5 years meet my children. Protected of my minds and my mind of the young was my priority. I'm a rough rider. That's for damn sure.
I love it.
Lynette says, Karima, you're funny. As a grown woman asked why my mom stayed with a blank hole father. Good for you. Live your life. Cliff said, come on here, sisters.
Hey, Cliff. So, we pulled the show off, y'all. We pulled the show off.
Yeah.
I know.
It's one thing that we didn't kind of talk on it that I just wanted to speak about, especially now with, everything going on and having Black sons in the world that we are in right now with, police brutality and everything. I worry about my son every day, every single day, all day. And I worry about my daughter too. I'm not saying that I don't, but my son is a different type of worry because I have a different type of bond. Like my daughter is a hustler, go-getter. She can hold her own. And I know that. And my son probably can too, but he's an introvert. So I got to hold on to him a little tighter than I got to hold on to her. But we have to, I'm in my son all day. I remember when he was pulled over by the police and I'm on the phone with him and it was about his insurance card. Girl, I bust out crying on the phone. And he's like, Mom, they only pulled me over for an insurance card. I said, they pull people over who are dead. And my son could not understand and will never be able to understand, mothers and fathers, what we feel when we hear our sons are pulled over by the police. And
you know what?
Let him go, but I'm just like, dude.
You got to get that out. Listen, because the Black man alone worry about themselves. We got those praying souls, and we can't let that negative energy get in that vibe. You just got to know that when they pull that child over, he is protected and he's good. And
I get that, and I'm a praying child, and I come from a praying family. But in the midst of it,
God, you got me scared right now. Donovan trying to get his daggone permit and want a car, and
he's gonna be fine. He gotta live his life. He's gonna be fine. Listen, when my child was growing up, PG County was his best friend. We lived in Marlton, and PG County harassed the kids. So Latoya and Michelle had been on the news and everything. What? You stopped my child for what?
So my son is so nonchalant. He's just like, Mom, they just pulled me over because I didn't stop completely. I'm like, dude, why? But of course, me, I'm like, why the hell you ain't got your damn insurance card? I done told you 5 fucking times. I'm just like, snap. He's like, Mom, it's good. Just calm down. It's good. He was like, you keep telling me to pray. Did you pray before you called me?
Oh my God.
I mean, because listen, it's rough anyways raising boys. So we have got to be positive. We got to think positive because it's crazy. Hey,
Girl.
boys been in fights over the stupidest stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Boys
yeah.
walk outside. Y'all
I'm
saw
about to get on my knees.
y'all saw the video of the two boys shaking hands and saying "What's up?" dapping in the metro. The next one, and one turn around and shoot the other one in the head.
Pulled out a, yep, pulled out a gun.
When I say they was in conversation, they dapped and everything. Like, I love you,
Yep.
man. And the other one, he got to walk away, and one pulled out his gun and shot him in the head. Listen, it's rough having a son.
It
It's real.
is, but
We got to be some positive thinking.
we do. And we got to stay prayed up and we got to do all that. But boy, I don't know. And I feel like my son has a special place in my heart, you know, and my daughter, Laura, she has a special place too. But them son, like I could be laying on the couch at sleep and my son will put a blanket on me or he'll wake me up, Ma, it's time to go to bed.
Right.
You know, my daughter, your ass will be there for 5 days.
And don't care.
5 days. Okay.
Oh
She
God.
just sat on you and all kind of shit. But that son is that protective kind of, you know, something with them mothers. But yeah, boys are hard.
My son's thing was when he used to get drunk, he used to call me and tell me how much he loves me.
Oh wow, that's funny.
I'm like, yo,
my brother was like that. My brother, but I'm like that too. So me and my brother, we are so like emotional and we gotta call our fam. Let me tell you, when I'm drunk, the first person I have to call is my father.
See, yeah, my son, my son used to be, I love you so much, and I'm like, okay, baby, I got you. You at home? Are you okay? As long as I know you're okay,
Wow.
Right.
Kudos. So to you women who's raising your sons by yourselves, keep doing it. Just pray, keep your prayers up, meditate, find your peace or whatever, and understand the world may attack you or whatever. If you're going to have the right men in their lives, make sure it's the right men. Make sure you don't just let anybody in their lives. Make sure you do your job to vent everything. You know what I mean? Because little boys are getting hurt and molested and all kinds of stuff and everything. We're working these full-time jobs and, you know, doing what we can to keep a house over or a roof over them and stuff. There's some amazing men out here. There's some great men who are really about helping, but there's also a lot of predators.
There go your boy Mike. Mike says it can be done. I was raised by all women. Salute, ladies. Yes. That's right. Sugar said yes, Trina. That's my man, girl, my dude. He is not an emotional sharer, but he is emotional. We've seen them in the raw. Know how prayer is needed. He made it better. You're right. You're right.
Right. That's what was created. Mothers were created for their sons. I don't care what nobody say. Okay, you can go, you can feud. Like me and my son is beefing now. I'm not even worried no more because I know. Yeah. We done been through way too much for anybody to try to put something through us. And I'm not even worried. It's all
Girl,
good.
My son got a damn girlfriend. I don't know if they're dating anymore. Look just like me. Here go my daughter. Why would you go get somebody look like your mama? She was like, because my mama is my girl. So he was like,
right. I love it. I love it.
It's the funniest thing.
So, any last minute things that y'all want to put out or say or whatever?
Nikki, for you and your where you work with your boss having that, you know, mentorship foundation, I think you should put that out more. Like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I actually do. I have in the past, because we actually still have some programs running now. So it's like free tutoring on Saturday, SAT, that's free good. SAT. We doing it all. And the thing though is that because of COVID, we couldn't have like our main event, but we are still doing some things because the last thing we were doing before we closed was we was going to Paris. We were taking the kids to Paris, and so and that's still in the fold. But we are doing some really good things, and I will put that out there. What I was going to say is one of the shows that we have to do is to do do some promoting of some positive businesses that we support or whatever to get the word out there, because some people like it's just Google isn't everything. Right. You can't always look stuff up. It's by word of mouth. So we need to think. We'll talk about that. But yeah.
Well, I definitely like to help in any way I can with the foundation, and I know it's
Yeah,
for
it's a good
boys,
one. A lot.
but
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. If you got some kids, 12 to 13, 12 to 17 years old,
Are there boys
definitely. And
and
we have a,
girls?
no, it's just boys. It's just
Okay.
the
Yeah,
men.
I have nephews, so
And we have a chapter in Charlotte as well.
oh,
Yes.
that's good to
Yes.
know.
Yes.
Okay,
Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah. I'll put some information out there.
all
Um,
right.
yeah.
All right, everyone. We thank you. Thank you. This was an excellent show. We will see you all next week, and enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Yes. Thanks,
ladies.
everybody. Thanks. Have a good
See
evening,
y'all.
everybody. All right.